Hey, this is going to be your short, quick video for Thursday. Instead of having your expressions written out for you this way as they have been, all of your questions are going to be word problems. All right? So this is the example that we're going to be using today. The question says 40 students shared 5 pizzas equally. How much pizza did each student receive? When reduced to simplest terms, what fraction of pizza does each student receive? So this is a two-part question. The first question we've got to answer is how much did each student receive? And then the second question is asking us to reduce our answer to simplest terms. So this is a two-part word problem that we've got to solve. So within our word problem, I always tell you to underline the information that's given to you. In this case, I'm just going to write it on the board for us. We know that there are a total of 5 pizzas. And these 5 pizzas are being shared between 40 students. All right? So, we're going to be following those same steps that we used before. And if you don't know what steps I'm referring to, then I need you to go back and watch the video that we have for Wednesday and then come back and complete this one. But we're going to start with that first step, which is drawing out that tape diagram with our units. So we know that we've got a total of 5 pizzas. So that is what our piece of tape is going to represent, these 5 pizzas. All right. Then these 5 pizzas are being split up between a total of 40 students. All right. So instead of us drawing 40 lines, I'm just going to use these dots to represent all of the numbers that are in between, and then I'll write the last couple of numbers. All right. So instead of you taking the time out to draw all 40 lines, go ahead and utilize these dots, which are going to represent the numbers that are in between 1 and 40. So now we're going to move on to that second step, which is writing it out. So we know we've got 40 units, and that's equal to 5. Okay, and that last step, we've got to divide both sides. We know that we've got to divide 40 by 40 to make that a unit of 1. And we've got to divide this side by 40 as well. So now we've got 40 divided by 40, which we've just said is 1. We've created that 1 unit. And that's equal to 5 over 40, or 5/40ths of pizza. So we've answered that first question, but now we've got to answer the second question, which is to reduce. All right? And when we are reducing fractions, that means we've got to divide both of these numbers until they can't be divided anymore. All right? So, if we look at the numbers 5 and 40, we know, of course, that they both can be divided by 1. But if we look at the next number up, 2, can 5 be divided by 2? No. So we've got to find a number that can divide both 5 and 40 evenly. Okay, so we know that 5 can't be divided by 2. When we look at 3, 5 cannot be divided by 3, so that's not going to work. When we look at 4, 4 isn't divisible by 5 either. So we look at 5. Okay, we know that we can divide 5 by 40. And we can divide 5 by 5. So this is what we are going to do. We've got 5 over 40, or 5/40, and we are going to divide both our numerator and our denominator by 5. And this is how we are going to get our reduced fraction. So when we are dividing, we are going to simply divide straight across. 5 divided by 5 is equal to 1. And 40 divided by 5 is equal to 8. All right, so now when we look at this fraction, we know that both of these numbers can only be divided by 1 evenly. All right, so this is our reduced fraction. This fraction has been reduced to simplest terms. So for the second portion of our question, we know that the students are going to have 1/8 of a pizza. All right, so I told you this video was going to be short. You're going to have 4 word problems on your assignment to complete. So just continue using those steps and you'll get it.